So we're going to play while we talk here, and I'll try and learn a few things from you here, Magnus. So I'm just going to lead off with that, and while you're considering your response to that tricky... OK, he's already done it. Andrew, tell us what you're trying to achieve with the tournament. You're getting a big splash in London and elsewhere. What are you trying to show us that perhaps we haven't seen in previous tournaments?
Well, the Candidates Tournament is one of the greatest tournaments in living memory, and it's going to produce the challenger to the reigning world champion, Vishy Anand, which will take place in November. So it's already very important. What we're trying to do is turn chess from a game played by two people into something that's entertaining, something that is a spectator sport. And the first thing we've done is we've created an app where people in the audience and at home, but in the audience watching, have a Samsung tablet that they can actually watch the game in their laps and investigate and go deeper into what's going on. So they have, they can, in effect, it's like having performance-enhancing goggles on. They can see with the eyes of a grandmaster.
OK, and Magnus took a little while to respond to my Sicilian defence dragon formation there, but while I'm thinking about this, and go for that, Magnus, I'm curious to ask from you how you perceive chess. In your mind, is it a sport? Is it a mind game? What is it? How do you see it?
Well, there are certain elements of sports, for sure, in that, you know, the main thing is, after all, to win. And I prepare, like I think most sportsmen do, and have kind of a sportsman's mentality during the game.
Do you have to prepare your mind for a big game? Like you're in the middle of a seriously important tournament. Would you do certain things before playing?
I mean, nothing apart from trying to be well prepared, purely sporting-wise, and also have a clear mind. You know, I could perhaps do some mental exercises. I don't know if that would help or not. I haven't tried that too much.
And you're unusual because you're the person who's rated the highest in the world, and the last person to be that was Bobby Fischer a long time ago, an American. So is your challenge, Andrew, to try and spread the popularity of chess beyond Eastern Europe, which has really been the heartland of the last 20 years, hasn't it?
Well, playing chess is broadly popular around the world. When we first started this, we hired YouGov to do a poll. And we determined that, strangely, about 30% of the people in the world have never played chess. But 70% of the people in the world do. And there's a little bit of variation from country to country as to how many people continue to play. But, for example, in the UK, 12% of the population, the adult population, still plays. And 70% of the children play. So it's more professionalizing the sport so that it's better broadcast, better transmitted, and becomes something which is more attractive for sponsors. This is the most important element.
And Magnus, when you were growing up, were you unusual in that you played serious chess? I mean, I'm trying to think. I played a little bit of chess, but most of my friends wouldn't have played it.
Yeah, it was certainly unusual that I actually started to work on the game on my own. That I started going to chess clubs, playing tournaments, and so on. It was my general feeling that most of the kids liked playing chess. And it still is that, you know, people and especially kids find chess both interesting and fascinating. But sure, it was unusual for me to actually take it to the next level.
We can see you playing when you were a lot younger. I'm curious, what's the dynamic between you and one of your big rivals when you're a metre apart, playing in a match that matters so much to each other? Are you aware of the other person, or is all of your focus on the board? Is it like playing a computer for all you care, or does the other person matter?
No, the other person matters. There are certain psychological elements. Sometimes you make decisions that you perhaps wouldn't have made against the computer because you think either for humans in general or for that particular opponent it might be difficult to respond to. And I mean, that's part of what I like with chess, that it is a psychological warfare at the board, and when you play computers, you lose that element.
And, well, you're trying to measure that, aren't you, Andrew? Because you would quite like us to be able to know the heart rate of players or how much they're sweating and really measure the pressure they're feeling?
In the future, we're going to try and get down into the guts of what the players are thinking and feeling, as well as what they're thinking and doing.
Okay, and how am I doing here, Magnus? My opening, I'm three
doing
moves
well.
in. I asked the BBC World News viewers what opening I should use, and I was told that the Sicilian defence, the dragon variation, is one of the most aggressive ways of opening the game. You don't look overly intimidated, though.
But then you'd have to be black, but you've managed to distract me from the game at the very least. So now I'm going to go ahead and take a pawn, if you don't mind.
Okay. I'm back on the... but maybe this is what your opponent should do. They should interview you while you're playing. That could be an effective way. And just to explain for people who are interested but don't understand the format, there are 8 players in London, and you're fighting out for the right to challenge for the title. Is that right?
That's correct, yeah.
Okay. It's a bit of a long-winded format, isn't it, Andrew? I mean, it reminds me of the America's Cup.
It's even longer. The people who are eligible to be in the candidates are already selected from a long series of events that preceded. And some of them are selected by rating. So it's a way of putting together a varied group of 8 players who represent the very, very, very best of chess today.
And in terms of the age group that you're attracting, can you see a lowering of the age, or is Magnus still very much the exception to the rule?
Well, there's a difference between people who play, who watch, and who are at the highest level. But it certainly is a young game, despite what one might imagine. Half the people who play actively are between 19 and 34. And certainly the players we have with us at the candidates represent a broad range up to of 15, 20-year range of ages.
Can I just say this, because I'll probably never have the chance to say this again against the greatest chess player of all time. Check. And sadly, that didn't do the trick.